Today I'm going to share a prayer with you that changed my weight loss journey completely. Have you ever felt hopeless, like you're totally controlled by food and stuck in this cycle of trying and failing diet after diet, and you keep going back to overeating and gaining the weight back? Whether you count calories or try to cut out carbs or do Weight Watchers or no sugar or fasting, maybe even medication, dieting is like that classic definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You might feel like I did, thinking if I just find the right diet, I'll lose weight and be thin and stay motivated to keep it off. But the willpower never lasts and you go back to overeating. And with each failure, you'll feel like you're never going to change. That's how I felt. And I finally came to the end of myself. I was so sick of being overweight and feeling uncomfortable in my own skin. I was so tired of trying to be good and then feeling deprived and then binge eating and failing again. And I felt ashamed. And the prayer I prayed was finally turning it all over to God and surrendering it all to Him. I was just completely honest with God and gave Him all of my frustrations, my embarrassment and shame. I told Him my weakness and total inability to be disciplined enough to lose weight and keep it off. I got down on my knees and I laid it down at His feet and said, I can't do this, Lord. I give up. I surrender this struggle all to You. I give it over to You. I'm weak and I need You to help me. I also told God that I knew I didn't know how to eat like a normal person. I couldn't remember what it felt like to be hungry, and I knew my eating habits were messed up. And I asked Him to show me how to eat like a normal person. And when I prayed this simple, humble, sincere prayer, it was a turning point for me in my weight loss journey. In 2 Corinthians 12, 9 and 10, Paul is talking, and Paul has a weakness, and he says, God said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. So just like Paul, we can humbly admit our weakness and our need for His grace so that His power will rest on us. When we admit we're weak and failing and sinning and ask honestly for His grace and help and forgiveness, He meets us where we are. He wants us to be honest and humble. He knows we're weak and wants to help us. Now, I want to talk about one more thing from God's Word that highlights God's help for us. In Mark chapter 5, verses 21 to 34, a large crowd is gathered around Jesus. And one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came and fell down at Jesus' feet because his daughter was sick and dying. He pleaded with Jesus earnestly and said, my little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so she'll be healed and live. And so Jesus went with him. And the crowd was following him and pressing in on him. And a woman who'd been suffering from bleeding for 12 years was there, and the Bible said she had spent all her money, and yet instead of getting better, she was getting worse. You know that feeling, right? Like you've tried everything and you're still overweight? So this woman who was hemorrhaging, when she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and reached out and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I'll be healed. Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. And Jesus realized that power had gone out of him, and he turned to the crowd and asked, who touched my clothes? And he was looking around, waiting for someone to answer, and the woman, knowing she was healed, came down and fell down at his feet. There it is again. She fell down at his feet, and trembling with fear, she told him the truth. It was me. And he said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. In both of these circumstances, they were humble and desperate and had faith that Jesus could heal them, and he did. He is our help. So don't keep trying to fight this battle in your own strength, striving to be good and going on another diet. Your willpower will run out. Surrender it all to him in total humility. Lay it down at his feet and see what God does. I'm Ashley, and I'm a Christian life coach, and I struggled with binge eating, and I was overweight 30 years ago. But I overcame it by the grace of God, and I learned how to become healthy. And the lessons I learned during that season helped me become the life coach I am today. I really feel for people who are struggling with their weight, and because I've been there, I've identified 4 mistakes I was making that kept me overweight and unhealthy. And now I take other people through those 4 lessons so they don't make the same mistakes that I did. If you'd like to work with me, click the link below and we'll set up a time to talk. And I also have a few other videos that can help you, so make sure and check those out.